Across the continent of Africa, it turns out many technologies are being used to help raise the standard of living. Special correspondent Fred DeSam Lazaro reports from Kenya's capital, Nairobi, where mapping technology is helping to bring services to some of the poorest people on the continent. It is the latest in his series, Agents for Change.
In the maze that forms Africa's largest urban slum, Zach Wambua's job is to keep an eye on the nooks and corners. He's with a group of residents in Nairobi's Kibera neighborhood who've been trained in basic computing technology to record where things like electrical lines, public toilets, and community water tanks are, and more critically, where they are needed.
So again, I'll just pick a point here.
On this day, he was checking on streetlight locations using a small GPS device.
So this is the coordinate.
So having a light here is very important to the security of the families that live in this area back here.
At the end of his day, the information is added to a database. It's all designed by an organization called Map Kibera, which provides the information free of charge so that public and private groups can better provide services.
At least 50% of Nairobi's population lives in slums, and yet until just a few years ago, busy neighborhoods like Kibera behind me were largely blank spaces on official maps.
Mapping is one of several tech initiatives to bring attention to people in Nairobi's vast, impoverished neighborhoods. People like Farida Ate, a second-generation Kibera resident. Orphaned at 13, she shares this tiny space with an aunt and sister. She's 26 now, a single mother who's determined that life will be far better for her 4-year-old daughter, Amina. So after breakfast, she loads up her backpack and heads to class, a few miles and half a world from Kibera, in one of Nairobi's thriving tech hubs.
It's on you guys to figure out what type of components best serve what we want.
She attends Akira Chicks, a rigorous post-high school program that trains young women from poor neighborhoods to become high-tech entrepreneurs.
Before I joined Akira Chicks, I was just in the dark, in that I didn't see my life and I didn't knew where I was heading to.
So what do you think you might want to do once you get your diploma?
I want to build websites.
We're trying to see that whether we can start converting them, not just to be women in tech, but at the same time to be the drivers and creators of technology.
Linda Kamau is a software developer and co-founder of Akira Chicks.
Tech is a tool, and so if you empower them with this tool that will help them get themselves out of the cycle of poverty, then you're showing them that there's a path that they can take, there's something they can use to actually secure themselves.
Akira Chicks is one of several efforts to find answers in technology amid growing concern about high unemployment among young people. It's about 20%, to bridge the two worlds that Farida Ate inhabits. This initiative spun off from one of Africa's most successful tech startups called Ushahidi, Witness in Swahili. It was born 10 years ago out of the deadly violence that followed elections in Kenya and the limited media coverage of them, says Angela Odur.
Most of us, including myself, were stuck in our houses. We didn't quite know what was happening in different parts of the country. So what a group of 4 Kenyan bloggers did was basically come together and create a platform that allowed for all ordinary citizens to send in either text messages, emails, or tweets about the things that are happening around them.
Since then, the software company has grown exponentially, used in more than 160 countries.
The magnitude 7 earthquake destroyed 250,000 homes,
helping humanitarian organizations find survivors from the Haiti and Nepal earthquakes, for example, and the tsunami in Japan. Ushahidi software was also used to monitor election irregularities in 40 countries, including the past 2 here in Kibera and across Kenya.
In 2013, where we received a text message about a group of people congregating around a polling station in a place called Molo, which is known for political strife. And in a matter of 15 minutes, police officers were deployed.
It should be upgraded
Beyond monitoring elections, technology is becoming a tool to bring accountability to those elected, says MAP Kibera's Joshua Ogure.
We make the invisible visible, and we show the world that this is what we have, this is what we don't have. And so the government, for example, we can hold them accountable by saying, look, this is your responsibility. Hello, Niaje.
Ogure also runs an online Kibera News Network,
Kibera News Network,
a modest effort to amplify the concerns of ordinary citizens. There's some evidence of a response.
In Kibera, we had a deficit of secondary schools.
Vincent Ayako is an aide to the Member of Parliament from this area. He says they used MAP Kibera's data to get funding for a new high school.
MAP Kibera was able to provide us with a strategic direction to know which areas needed mostly secondary school.
We're going to do some finishing on the...
Back at Akirachix, Farida Ate also has some specific dreams for her future. She says she'd like to develop a fingerprint technology to stop people from stealing water, a big problem in her neighborhood.
So the owner will just use their fingerprints and the water will flow to the pipe. Yeah.
So you want to use tech to stop water piracy?
Yes. Immediately when someone tries to put or tamper with the fingerprint of the owner will receive a notification message.
I know Internet of Things is great, but it works outside the African continent. I mean, if you want your fridge to be telling you when it's empty, that's not for this continent, that's not for this market. Yeah, but their problems are like very simple. We always tell them that they hold solutions to their own problems.
I only know that she's working at...
Farida Ate will soon begin an internship with a tech company, the start, she says, of a journey out of the poverty and possibly this neighborhood that she's known all her life. For the PBS NewsHour, I'm Fred DeSam Lazaro in Nairobi, Kenya.
Fred's reporting is a partnership with the Undertold Stories Project at the University of St. Thomas in Minnesota.